Welcome back. Um, I know you guys are not gonna watch me for 12 hours react to the entire debate. I watched the debate live. Um, I'll share some thoughts and I'll go through the extremely long debate as fast as I can because I have some stuff to do today. Um, Let me start by criticizing Hassan. I think here Hassan did not expect Ethan to approach the debate in this way, which is weird to me. Like it took maybe 3 hours for Hassan to start to realize that he just needs to try to make his points. There were some points where I think Hassan maybe shouldn't have been that difficult just for the debate to move along. We might cover that when quickly reviewing the debate. Some very funny moments as well. All right, so I'm going to set it to 1.5 speed, and I'm going to provide commentary. So do you have to have watched the entire? No, like I'm going to provide you with enough context. But again, just like with other videos, it's up to you guys to do your own research. So I'll play the parts that are significant, and I will summarize what happened and who was doing like a better job in debating a certain point.
It's time.
Hassan lost his cool at the end. I think that was fine. He regretted a bit losing his cool, but he also said like, yeah, it really made me feel good. I mean, if you need to feel good to do a good debate, like then lose your cool a bit sooner, you know. Ethan kind of approached this in the way that he has approached all the content that has been made about him. And also for him, Hassan was like the main target, like the CPS call, the content cup video, all of that stuff. Ethan was like, well, you were in that video, so here you go. Now you need to defend it. Why didn't they include like the CPS call and stuff like that? All right, let's see.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Hasan Biker.
Hello, Hasan Piker.
What's going on?
Well, I'm doing a debate. What about you?
Call?
Here,
Not just Ethan, but yourself as well. You're going to talk like
Not now.
conversation.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to come on to make this as issue specific as possible.
So Hassan starts by saying, hey, I want to define, like, let's work on our definitions first. And the most important definition is Zionist.
But yes, you have grievances
Because Hassan wants to debate Israel-Palestine. That's like his intention.
with me. And
Okay.
of course, I think they're valid to address.
Okay. Okay,
Of
good.
course, me.
So
bogged down in-
forward.
All right. So you're fine.
I don't want to get bogged down in a conversation.
It's not like a
Go ahead,
gotcha. I'm
start.
not-
Ethan kind of complains about, like, I don't want to talk too long about definitions. Like, Ethan is very combative from the start of the debate. And you can see Hassan kind of like trying to get a feel of like how Ethan is going to approach this. And like this should have been like, okay, I have plan A, I have plan B, I have plan C. Ethan is going for tactic A, the only tactic someone should expect from Ethan to go for. And Hassan did not switch. He just tried to make it work. I guess he was also thinking probably like it's going to make Ethan look bad. But then the question is, are you debating Ethan for the H3 community or are you debating Ethan for everyone else? And I think for the longest time in this debate, Hassan was debating Ethan because of everyone else, disregarding what would work, what would not work with the H3 community. And I was watching their chat, and they defended Ethan like 99.99%. The funny thing is, if you go to the comments, the people that are leaving comments, like even the members, they're actually quite critical of Ethan, and they're quite funny as well. Those comments are not comparable to the comments that you see on stream. It's pretty crazy. There's quite a divide there. Like in the stream, you do not see any negative comments about Ethan, only negative comments about Hasan. Which I get, you don't like the guy, but Ethan was being ridiculous at so many points in this debate. But let's see.
No, I know you're not. I
Okay,
just want to
so,
get going.
all right. By Zionism,
And
I believe that Zionism is
So their definitions are different. Ethan has a very short definition. He thinks if you're a Zionist, you want Jews to have a homeland there in Israel/Palestine. That's what he says. And then Hasan has a longer, a more complex. So he's putting in a lot of other stuff in his definition compared to Ethan's definition, which kind of frames the debate, right? So if Hasan is trying to make the point that Ethan seems to be a Zionist, or he's talking Zionist, using Zionist talking points, he's framing it in that way. He's like, hey, this is what I consider to be Zionist. So based on Hasan's description of Zionism, one would expect Ethan to not feel like he fits that description. Based on Ethan's own definition, thinking that they should have a homeland there, like he probably leans into yes, right? He doesn't want people there to leave. Even Hasan
a
does not
religious
want that.
ethno-supremacist ideology that revolves around the exterminationist policies of removing the indigenous population that lived in, as you said, historic Palestine, as long as they are not Jews, because it's a religious, ethno-religious supremacist ideology. I think that this is a disagreement that you and I have.
no, I agree
on
with
this
you.
front.
I agree.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like when you're asking for a definition and your definition is super short, it's like they need to have a homeland there. But like if that is only it, I mean, you could have a homeland there together with the Palestinians and like a one state and everyone is like equal and stuff like that, right? So you could be a Zionist while still saying, hey, I want that. But if you use Hasan's definition of Zionism, no, it's exclusionary. It's like, yeah, displace Palestinians at the cost of Palestinians, and it has to be an ethno-state. And then the question is like, okay, what does Ethan say when you push him on this? Which I don't think Hasan really did, but like I've seen older conversations, and Ethan has said like, no, they would, like there was a clip where Hila said they would lynch you if you take the wrong exit and end up in Palestinian territory. Like they've said some stuff, right? And Ethan has also said like it's just impossible. One state is impossible. All right, let's listen.
With you. If you want to add that, like the genesis of Zionism included, the displacement and the ravaging of the culture that existed there, then I would agree with you. I mean, I don't think that the establishment of Israel was like a good thing. I mean, it was tragic and a lot of bad things happened. But let me ask you, sir,
Okay.
how was filming that content?
But you're okay, but you're kind of moving a lot with that definition, right? So you agree with his definition? It is important. Like moving away from this and then talking about the content cop is kind of stupid. If you want to have a mature debate, you responded to his definition, but then you need to agree on what definition you guys are going to actually use. Because if you don't agree on the definition, it makes the debate very difficult. It makes it very difficult for people to judge the debate because they need to have your opinion on a lot of stuff.
Just have to know what you were thinking as they were doing the Fortnite L behind you.
We'll get to that.
So the Fortnite L is like when Hasan was like sitting in that video. Hasan was part of that video. So we'll have like an entire section here where Ethan is upset about that content cop video and saying like, hey, he didn't mention CPS. 90% of the video was clipped, sourced from our stream where the title was that CPS was called on us. But the reality is, and I've uploaded this in my previous video, he's the one that talked on stream about, Jardia and how you have to ingest it to get it and blah, blah, blah. We don't know who called CPS, right? So a lot of people in the H3 community make the claim that someone within those communities, it was Denim's community or Badem Panada's community. The reality is Badem Panada made a video about it. Denim's reacted to that video. We don't know who called. Nobody really said to their viewers like, hey, someone should call CPS. The fact that people were using the word CPS in the chat or saying like, oh, call CPS, doesn't mean that they actually called CPS. But the fact that they did that when they're reacting to the streamer that got their favorite streamer banned from Twitch for 30 days based on a nonsense claim of the Habibi tier list, claiming that it was a racist tier list, which will come up in this debate as well. They're upset, so I guess making fun, and I don't think it's that strange for them to mention CPS in the chat.
No. We're here. I don't want to talk about definitions. You got your Zionism. Let's do it.
Okay.
And the criticism about Ethan was not specific to that stream or the clips from that stream. There was a general critique of how Ethan is approaching things.
Okay. Yeah,
How
I
he's
don't know. I
reacting
mean,
to
it was
stuff.
fine.
Did you not?
So we'll just see like a very long time of Hasan like, yeah, I collaborated. I was part of the video, but like I've done a lot of sketches. I collaborate with a lot of other people. I think here Hasan could have just said, you know what, I agree with the criticism. He does mention something like that, but not very concrete. I think like with this type of topic, it's such a non-issue. I would give him a little bit so you can move on to the next thing, you know? Just tell him what you think of like when you're in the video of Content Cop and Ethan is claiming it's like the worst thing ever, you're in the video, so it's not strange for Ethan to think you're signing off on that thing, right? Like, but then Hasan says, I don't have editing control or whatever. I get that, but you are trusting someone and you are being put in that video. If you don't agree with the general message in that video, you're like heavily criticizing that video, which you did not do, then you would probably mention that, right? You would tell everyone. So here I would not be too difficult with Ethan, but I would just make a point about Ethan exaggerating and going back and forth on the actual critique itself.
I've participated in other YouTube videos as well. In the past,
but that Fortnite L dancing.
Some of them feature
Who
sketches.
cares about the L dancing? It's just,
I noticed you weren't in the other shots. Why was
it's
that?
lame, but like
I think I was being interviewed
really?
by
Who was
the
interviewing
journalist while that was happening.
Really?
I don't remember.
Really? Oh, that's convenient. I think you were embarrassed, frankly. You were absent from every other shot. I think you saw him doing that. I think you saw him doing that Fortnite dance, and you said, "I got to get out of this." And by the way,
No,
I'm giving you
care.
credit for that.
I mean, Ethan, you're a comedian. You know, you participated in some sketches. You know, it happens.
I mean,
We've done
content cop.
so it's
I don't know. I
really,
mean,
Well, I'm
I
asking-
don't
I don't
recall
care.
saying this, but I don't know why
You
this is
did
a major
say
point
it.
of contention. All right, so you
No,
asked
no,
that
no, no,
question.
no, no,
Let's
no,
get back to some other. No,
let's
no.
go
I mean,
back.
Content cop. Do you still believe that?
what the likes? What?
You had said you thought the likes were botted on the content cop. Do you still believe that?
this like there's an easy response to this. Like the likes bought it. No, the dislikes, they're using the extension. Ian has said, hey, the dislikes are actually like 15%, 85% is likes. I'm not gonna not believe them because they have access to the actual data, and it's very childish to fake a screenshot. And when you fake a screenshot like that, it's just, I don't think they're doing that. Regardless, the extension that gives you the dislike numbers was showing a very high number of dislikes. And the extension does not have access to the dislikes of the video. So it's just looking at how many people are clicking like and dislike, dividing those two, multiplying it by the actual number of likes, right? So if a lot of people install the extension and go and hit that dislike button, it will be skewed. Like I calculated it based on the actual numbers that Ian's editors provided, and it's like 7 times worse with the extension compared to actual number of dislikes.
What? The likes were botted on the content cop?
The
I don't- I have
dislikes
no
were
idea.
botted.
So one could say like, hey, H3 community has all, like they installed that extension, they're all clicking on this. It's just Hasan says like, I don't care about that, which is good. I think he should have said this immediately.
Like, sorry. Yeah, you said it was.
You know,
Yes.
What my opinion is
On the video.
IDubbbz' content cop.
Correct. That's correct.
Yeah, you should be able to just give your
About the
opinion.
CPS, I don't know, maybe, sure, okay.
Yes.
So the CPS point is like, should he have included it in the video? I think that's a good.
I mean, I think it was more so a
response from
request.
Hasan.
In a video
Not
with
like,
did
I
a
don't know why
total
you're-
This
fucking
is going to take forever, so I'm not going to do
I don't know
it.
why
job.
you think I have
All right, go
any
ahead.
hand
Ask me a
in this.
question.
I don't have any like.
Go-
If a-
I know what you're
let me-
saying. We've all been
You brought it
harassed.
up.
The internet
Let
is
me bring-
tough. Whatever.
let me
Yada
bring
yada.
my
Ask me a question.
No, please, Ethan, please.
Because you're so
Please.
boring, bro. I just want to have an interesting conversation.
I mean, it is quite clear that Ethan is like being a bit childish and very aggressive in this debate, which is kind of annoying, but it makes for interesting content, I have to admit. But Hasan should have like switched his strategy around here. But he
You
You know
Go
who
ahead.
else also told me that? Andrew Tate. Please, just hold on.
Wow,
And doxing, swatting, years.
Okay,
advocate
ask me
for
a
that sort of
question.
thing, and don't think it's appropriate.
called CPS got called on me and didn't even include the title of the podcast. Now, do you think that's fair?
I think you should take this up with iDubbbz instead.
Yeah, that is true. It's iDubbbz. So you're like criticizing the person that made the entire video, wrote a script for that video. It's iDubbbz. You need to go to Ian and just have a debate with Ian about his content cop. Ian might do it.
Instead of me.
Okay,
I
sure.
didn't
Ask me
make
a
any
question.
editorial- Yeah, I didn't make any of the editorial decisions in iDubbbz's content cop.
I'm asking what you thought about it, okay? Not if you made it. It's pretty fucking...
I mentioned.
you had said that I have problems with your character. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead, ask
I
me
know,
a
but
question.
but you having problems with my character.
Hasan, ask me a
is
question. I'm
so
going to move
far
on to the
removed-
next. About
I also agree on this. If you believe that Israel is committing a genocide in
So they both agree on that there is a genocide.
Gaza,
Hila, I don't know. But it's clear that Hila is having a different... her opinion is different than Ethan's.
okay? Do you feel like you have used your limited amount of time that you have as a content creator speaking out against Israel doing a genocide on the Palestinian population living in the Gaza Strip, or do you feel like most of your commentary on that issue has overwhelmingly been to rail against people that are doing that?
Sure.
I'm not going... I think I'm going to skip the... like, we can listen to it, but basically, Ethan is like, oh, they're harassing me. So it's valid for me. Yes, you were on the stupid tier list. I agree the tier list was stupid. I don't think it was a racist tier list, because when you claim that it's an anti-Semitic tier list with like Arab is good at the top and Jew is at the bottom, Denims was also in the F tier. And what I disliked about this entire thing is that Ethan just shows a thumbnail from Frogan where she has Ben Shapiro in the F tier, who didn't come up in the actual episodes with the tier list. He says, like, I really don't care. Yeah, people make their own thumbnails. It should be about the actual tier list, right? If you're saying it's anti-Semitic, then you're also saying that, like, Denims is, like, Jewish, right? I guess maybe she is Semitic. I don't know. I don't know where Denims is from. But regardless, they're putting Denims in that F tier together with you. And she got banned for 30 days while she was in the same F tier. She was on the panel, but why would she agree? Why would she not get pissed off when she's put in F tier and it's such a bad thing? It was not. It was just who gets to say Habibi. That's it. And yeah.
Palestinian
Well,
advocates. that
I
you
don't know.
feel-
I get the link with Sabra Hamas and like Israel, and I get that. And maybe there was an undertone there. I will admit that as well. But was it racist? No. Was it anti-Semitic? No. At most, it had an anti-Zionist undertone. That's it. And yeah, they put Ethan in the F tier, but if it's anti-Zionist and Ethan is an F tier, which would mean that he is a Zionist, Denims is not a Zionist, and she's also in the F tier. So whatever way you look at it, like, it's not what Ethan claims it to be. And they spent a lot of time talking about it for like it's just useless. It should be very easy for Hasan to just debunk the entire tier list was racist.
like you've been wronged by, myself included.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but if you're pro-Palestine, it doesn't absolve you of criticism.
After a while, Hasan actually wants to show the tier list, and I think Hasan should be capable of showing something on his own screen. When you're doing a debate, like Hasan is streaming on his end, right? Ethan is streaming on his end. On Hasan's stream, Ethan could be seen with a green screen behind him, which is going to make for very interesting edited videos, of course. So it's kind of stupid for H3. They have so many producers, they have so much money that they're not capable of broadcasting the stream video to Hasan, or like just the camera with the green screen, but with the city layout on the background, to stream that through Discord or whatever they're using to talk to Hasan. It's probably Discord. It's kind of ridiculous that they're not capable of doing that. And then second, it's kind of ridiculous for Hasan, who admittedly doesn't have an entire production team around him. But regardless, if you're doing such a debate, obviously you don't want Ethan to have full control of what is being shown. So what you can do is show on your screen instead of your video feed, change the source. Change the source to a secondary monitor where you pull up stuff. I mean, Hasan is capable of doing that in his own stream, right? So make sure that you can do that. And if you do that, and Dan is like, you know, not showing your screen and just showing Ethan, which that is what Dan would probably do. And why am I saying that? It's because at a certain point, Hasan shares a clip and asks Dan to show the clip on screen because they're having a debate. Ethan is showing clips. Hasan wants to show a clip. He's like, Dan, can you show this again? Hasan, you should be able to put it on your own screen. Dude, what the hell? But fine, Dan, instead of showing the screen and being like, and yeah, I dislike the video because I really dislike the way Ethan has been acting for the last 1.5 years or something. But let's see. I'm going to try to be charitable towards him. But yeah, when Dan gets that clip, he's like, I gave it to Ethan, it's out of my control now. Which is like, oh my God, dude.
That's something that you guys keep harping on.
I gave it to my boss. Ask my boss. It's up to my boss. Boss, my lord.
Do I think my coverage?
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that is the case.
Okay. Do you think my coverage has been that?
No, not just the Palestinian perspective, Ethan. I think that rather than
the reason for that being is that the hill. Okay, is it not?
Yeah, it's a
sword.
It's a sword that is a bleach sword, as you know already. That
I will quickly summarize this. This is how we're going through this because there's some chapters. It's kind of ridiculous. So here's the thing. I'm not going to react to the sword thing. Yes, it's an anime. Yes, Ethan has clips of Hasan admitting that it's kind of sus, like the way it looks. It kind of looks like a swastika. But then if you look at it, it's stretched. I do believe that it's going the wrong way. So if you look what the origin of that thing is, it's not in that direction. It's not just the Hindu people that have that symbol. That's also something to keep in mind. It's if you look into it, if you Google it, you'll find old Reddit posts of someone highlighting this and saying, hey, well, and then people that are actually into it, and Japanese people are saying like, dude, come on. Yeah, that's bullshit. It's not. And there is one manga, I think one version of the comic where it looks more like a swastika, I have to admit. Like it's not stretched and it's like that form. It's still going the wrong way, I do believe. I think with this type of thing, like you have to look at it from the perspective of the person holding it, not the person viewing it from the other side. Regardless, it's not a swastika. If it was an actual swastika, it would not be allowed to be streamed and whatever, like all those, like, yeah. So you can look into it, but then it's like Ian held this sword and they made a picture. They made a picture when they were there to make the content cup. So Ian is saying, well, they're just, because the content cup is about me, this picture is targeted at me. But it's also just them being together, having fun, and he's grabbing one of the swords. And then Ethan is like, you have 10 swords, why did he pick that up? And Hasan is like, it's like the lightest one, like the other ones are quite heavy. Ian grabbed it, you should ask Ian. But I think it's kind of a ridiculous thing. And then they talk about this for way too long, like 15 minutes of talking about the sword. And what is important here is, Ethan, later on in this debate, and I'm not going to edit this for you because you can check it if you want, if you don't believe me. Ethan, during the debate with Sam, said that he doesn't think Hasan is anti-Semitic. Right? During this debate, he says, I've never said that you are anti-Semitic. He has said stuff that I've heard where he said, you're saying stuff that can easily be used as anti-Semitism and blah, 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 blah. At the end of this debate, Ethan says you are anti-Semitic. So this debate convinced me that you are actually an anti-Semite. And then Hasan asks, like, why? Like, what exactly? And then Ethan is like, at the beginning. So the sword, quite literally, Ethan is using the sword as evidence. Like, that is the tipping point. The sword being held by Ian, not Hasan. He's like, he might have taken the picture. I don't know. He could have challenged him on that. Ethan could have said, like, did you take the picture or not? Like, then Hasan, if he did, he would have to lie to not have to admit that he's the one that took the picture. Because if Hasan took the picture, then Ethan can say, well, from the perspective of where you're taking that picture, it's kind of looking sus, right? And then you were already aware that it was sus because I showed those clips in an earlier video. So you should have picked up on this, right? You should have said, like, okay, guys, wait. But yeah, Ethan did not ask that question. Regardless, to claim that the sword incident, Swordgate, is the reason why Hasan is anti-Semite, if that is your strongest argument to convince people that he's anti-Semitic, that's really a weak argument. And he has Jewish friends. And then Ethan asked, like, do you have any Zionist Jewish friends that are Zionist? And he says, yes. But that, I guess, is something Ethan does not believe because he asked for names. And then, yeah, like, is Hasan supposed to share those names? Like, are they all content creators, you know? So is he lying there? Ethan says he is lying. Fine. How do you want to prove this? You didn't get the answer you were hoping for, right? Even if Hasan would said, like, no, I'm not friends with any Zionist Jewish people. Okay. Maybe that's a deal breaker for him. The way he described Zionism at the beginning of the debate, if someone is in favor of all of that, right? Not just a homeland, but like a homeland where it's an ethno-state and you're kicking those other people out and blah, blah, blah. Like, are you really friends with someone like that? So Ethan could actually clap back and say, well, considering your definition, isn't it kind of weird to be friendly with those people? Like, why would you cozy up with those people that you call inbred? Because Hasan did call, you know, people in occupied territory inbreds. Like, and he says that about like racist people, Nazis as well. So Hasan is like, it's not exclusive for those people, so it's not anti-Semitic. Yeah.
Has a hilt that has a Japanese manji sign on it, but yes, it does look like a swastika.
Manji sign, so Hasan has looked into it as well. Like, it's a non-issue, and Ethan kind of ruined his argument by claiming that is the most important damning evidence that Hasan is an anti-Semite because he bought a sword from a manga with a symbol that could be perceived as a swastika, but it's not. And then there is this one clip, I'm not going to find it, but Ethan says, I know it's not a swastika, you know it's not a swastika, but it's in fact a swastika. Which was quite hilarious. So Ethan was not doing great, to be very honest. Then the Sabra tier list. Hasan should have immediately addressed the fact that this is just a thumbnail from Frogan. Let's talk about the actual tier list. Can we bring up, hey Dan, come on, let's be fair. Let's look at the actual tier list and who is in the F tier. And then they would see that Denims is also in the F tier. Ethan makes fun of Hasan's armpit hair. This entire tier list should have been a dunk from Hasan's perspective, because it's the one thing that like most people are pissed off about, because pro-Palestinian speakers were banned from Twitch for 30 days. And Ethan himself claims to be the reason why this happened. Like, there is a clip of him. If you don't believe me, go search for it. It's there. He said, I will own this. Like, yeah, I made Frogan get banned. Like, I'm the reason why Frogan got banned. Ethan also mentions the ADL and the Congress guy, the weirdo. And he says, like, hey, if those two people didn't get involved, they wouldn't have banned them. How did it get to their attention? Like, Ethan is obviously the person that brought it to their attention. Hasan here should have been better in choosing his words and saying, well, maybe you didn't contact them. Maybe you didn't have a contact with it. Like, you didn't have a direct contact. But, like, are you really saying that nobody from your community reached out to them? Like, are you really saying that? Are you saying that it's not based on your video and the campaign that you kind of started to get them deplatformed. And again, looking at the thumbnail from Frogan here with Ben Shapiro and Ethan in the F tier, Denims was in the F tier as well. There were more people in the F tier, so yeah, you can't really call it anti-Semitic. You just can't, and it is not. Again, maybe there's like a Zionist undertone. I can imagine that you might think that, but then it's kind of inconvenient for Denims to be also in that F tier, right? Because she's not a Zionist.
But because
Not when you use Hasan's definition, for sure, right? Right?
it's the most most prominent Jewish.
Is that the is Denims a bit soft on the Zionism? Is that the reason why she ended up in the F tier and is not allowed to say Habibi? Like, dude.
Creators on
do you
YouTube.
think Ben
So the tier list, that's it. So Sword, Hassan could have done better, but it's such a non-issue. It's ridiculous. The subreddit tier list, it's messed up for Ethan to consider that to be anti-Semitism when it is not anti-Semitism, and to get those people to be banned for 30 days. And those are pro-Palestinian content creators. So yeah, you're silencing people that are talking a lot about what is happening. And instead of you talking about what is happening, you're talking about those people and trying to get them deplatformed. It's kind of messed up. Yeah. So the Theo Vaughn and promoting anti-Semitism, like here Ethan makes fun of Hassan having a small head. Like, yeah, the jacket is kind of a big jack. Who cares?
Right.
And then
And that's
he
why
finds the picture of Beetlejuice, which is a funny movie. But like, it's such a non-issue. And again, it's like, it's other people. It's not directly aimed at Hassan. Hassan was not on the tier list in the panel. He had nothing to do with that. Hassan did not create Frogan's thumbnail. Hassan didn't create the script for Ian's content cop. If Ian, like, there is a general consensus on what people are upset about with Ethan, right? It's primarily the tier list. Some old receipts that they have dug up, mostly done by Bandem Panada, who has been following them and getting those clips, but also just referencing their podcast from 7 years ago, where Hila literally says that, yeah, she went on a raid in Ramallah. So that is brought up by Hassan as well in this video, which is, I think, in this debate, which is, I think, good. But the tier list, the thumbnail, if Ian comes to you and you're Hassan and you're busy and you're like, oh, you know what, let's meet up at my place, shoot some videos. Yeah, sure, we will do that. We'll have like a couple of hours. Because Hassan he said he was like, I was being interviewed at that time when they did this or whatever. It's not Hassan's video, even though you see him in the video. There's valid criticism. If you're a bit objective, you will see the content cop as something that contains some valid criticism as well. And Ethan is completely disregarding it by saying, well, it didn't mention CPS. But then when you're talking about CPS, portraying it as if you know for a fact that someone in those communities called CPS, when the worst thing they did was watch a video of Bada and Panada showing you, telling the world, telling your entire H3 community that everyone had a poop disease that you can only get by digesting the poop. Like, dude, it's very convenient for people to leave that part out. And Hassan here could have mentioned that. Every time Ethan talks about CPS, like, why are you oversharing in your stream? Is it really weird for people to react to something you consider to be funny, which actually was disgusting and weird? Anyone could have called CPS. We don't know who called CPS, so stop claiming that they did it. They didn't tell anyone to call CPS, as far as I know. If they did, share me the clip and I will disavow what they did. Like, there was a better way for Hassan to deal with that. So the next one, Hassan thinks Ethan works with the ADL.
Difficult question.
Again, ADL tweeted that they got involved. Ethan says without ADL and that Congress guy, it wouldn't have happened. The banning, or what was it? Yeah, banning for 30 days. Including a Jew, by the way, for being on an anti-Semitic panel. An Arab Jew, but nonetheless. So Hassan could have done a better job of explaining how Ethan was aligning himself with ADL. Like, if ADL is great screen grab right here, if ADL is like defending your position publicly, you could say, you know what, I don't agree with the ADL, and they might be right on this specific point, but in general, I do disagree with the ADL on a lot of stuff. He did not do that. So you could say, well, Ethan doesn't mean that Ethan aligns with everything that they have done. You're saying, hey, I'm the reason why they got banned for 30 days. You're also saying, if they didn't get involved, they might not have been banned, but I'm still the root cause of all of this. So you're grateful for the help from ADL and that Congress guy, right? So own up that part. Like, Ethan is not willing to own it up.
BB,
So,
do you with the
And on that for sure.
Hassan, I'm getting there. You're getting ahead of yourself, buddy.
I'm going to mute it. So it's not a great section in the debate. Hassan could have done better. I think in general, like up to maybe the last point, like when Hassan is going one by one, like the points about the video that he made, that Ethan made on Hassan, and he debunks those points. And the Badam Nana made a stream of 3 hours debunking 95%, and he chopped it up in shorter videos. So it wasn't that difficult for Hassan to get prepared on clapping back regarding, the content nuke video. The fact that Ethan here in this section, Ethan shows this guy. This guy is a weirdo. He has been bothering a lot of people, including Anthony from Do Not Worry podcast, who was a former fan of H3. But like Hassan has a clip, and I've seen that clip, where this guy is like bothering Hassan and his friends. Like, hey, who you guys? What are you doing? Are you streaming? And he's trying to get some clout, right? He wants to be visible for the people on that stream. And they kind of realize this. And he's annoying. He's just being very annoying. Dude has a huge issue with trans people as well. So he's just a very disgusting piece of shit. He might attack me now because I'm saying that. But like based on what I have seen, like this dude is like a weirdo. He's a fucking weirdo. So when Ethan brings this up, Hassan has that clip. Hassan is trying to explain to Ethan, like, hey, even though you have a video of him taking a picture with me, there is a video of what he was doing before that point, and Hassan is not visible in that video, but it does not matter. What you see clearly in the video that Hassan wants to show, but Dan is like, he sent it to Dan, and Dan is like, oh, I sent it to Ethan, and it's out of my control. Your liege. You decide. And Ethan does play it, but then pauses it halfway through, is not willing to play the entire video. Very childish, because Ethan has control over the videos. Again, Hassan, you should be able to show a video on your screen. If they decide to not show your screen at that moment, then you can call that shit out. So you have an extra phone or tablet there showing what the actual stream on their end is showing. And as soon as you notice, like, Dan is not willing to show your screen because you're showing this clip, like, that is a big call out. You can just call that out. Like, dude, really? You're not allowing me to show any videos? You don't want to rely on them. Why? Why give them the advantage of controlling the videos? That makes no sense. Come on, it's 2025. It's an OBS. You need to switch source or whatever. Like, you can create scenes. Automate this. You have enough money. Ask for someone to do this for you, so the next time you're going into a debate with someone, that they cannot control this. So, but this guy is a weirdo that Ethan is referencing. And the fact that he's taking a picture with Hassan is like, have you never experienced like a weird fan? Like, I have not, but like, can you not imagine someone is like being weird? In this case, not really even a fan, like claiming to be a fan just to get some clout. And they want a picture, so you take the picture so they have the picture and they can leave. Like, that does not compute for Ethan. He does not want Hassan to mention that. I do think Ethan is smart enough to realize that was the case. Again, I think Hassan could have done a better point here. I think Hassan, when Ethan was rambling, should have just said nothing, just waited, kept quiet until Hassan is like, oh, you have nothing to say? Like, are you finished? That is quite effective. When you're in a discussion and someone is like going on a rant and like talking over you, don't say anything. Let them talk until they're done talking, and then they will look like a weirdo because they're still talking nonstop. So, not a good point. This is not a good point at all. And why is Ethan upset with this guy? Because there's a video of this guy filming Ethan and Hila when they're in the car, and he's like yelling and cursing at Ethan. He's being very ridiculous. While there is valid criticism of Ethan, and Hila has a different opinion about Israel, whether it's a genocide or not, and all those things. Those two people are in the car. Officially, like, if you really want to call out someone, it should be Hila and less Ethan, to be very honest. But regardless, kind of unhinged to start yelling and cursing at someone. Try to just make an argument and be like a mature person, but he's not. He's like a kid. His content is like crypto and like dating advice and stuff like that. He's cringe. So this should not have taken this long. This should not have taken this long. Dan should have just shown the video. Let me show you this part. It's just interesting. Let me show you this part.
Here we go. You wanted it. I've got.
So let me go back.
Yeah,
Can you answer the question? Why did you falsely claim that this fucking random dude who does
he
not
loves
like
you, that you're his favorite
is a
person in the
fan
world?
of
What do you
mine?
mean?
Didn't you use? Wait,
All right, Hasan,
didn't
here you go,
use
buddy.
him approaching
Here we
you?
go. You wanted it. I've got it.
Let's go back.
Doesn't give you the space to interject. Doesn't matter. I'm showing him as an example of you.
It does matter.
Okay, fine. He's not a fan. I don't care.
You brought him up. Wait,
Being like,
is this the guy?
Yeah, you remember.
Wait. No, this is the guy that you claimed was my fan, right? He was calling me the fucking.
I mean, there's a clip of being like, yo, I love this dude. Anyway, who cares if he's your fan or not?
No.
The point is,
Hold on.
Who cares if he's your fan or not? Honestly, who cares if he's your fan or not? Like, yeah, your entire point is on about him, being a fan. So it is kind of important.
Hold on.
No,
you brought this dude
it doesn't
up.
matter. I'm showing him as an example of you.
It does matter.
Okay, fine. He's not a fan. I don't care.
You brought him up. Wait, what do you mean you don't care?
If I brought him up, Hasan, if I brought him up, let me finish my point.
He's not a fan of mine.
Save
why
it.
did you make it seem like that
Hasan.
person?
So the problem here, the problem here, now it's too zoomed in. So the problem here, you do not control who is a fan of yours, right? So when the guy is claiming to be a fan of yours, how can you debunk that and say, no, he's not a fan of mine? We cannot look inside his head. It's a waste of time. Nobody cares what that guy thinks. It's not about him being a fan and you debunking him being a fan. Hasan should have simply said, I do not control who calls themselves a fan of mine and whether they are in fact a fan of mine or not, or if they're just claiming to be a fan of mine because they're clout chasing, which is the point that Hasan is trying to make. Regardless, he has shitty takes about trans people. So Hasan, purely based on that, Hasan would say, this is a shitty guy and I do not associate with this guy. Sometimes you take a picture with someone so they leave. That's it, dude. That's it. He wouldn't leave. What part of he wouldn't leave do you not get? But this is where Hasan provides the clip to Dan.
Was a fan of mine then.
Let me get to there, okay? You asked me.
No,
it's my turn to ask a question. Just because I brought him up doesn't give you the space to interject.
Is it because he rolled up to me
Let
and
me
tried
finish.
to fucking clout farm? Is that why?
Yes.
At
Okay,
the
thank you very
encampment where I was
much.
very clearly disturbed by his presence.
Hasan, I think you know where I'm going, and I think you're scared. Yeah,
Can you answer the question? Why did you falsely claim that this fucking random dude who does
saying he
not
loves you,
like
that
me
you're his favorite
is a
person in the
fan of
world?
mine?
Again, Hasan should not have tried to debate the point on whether the guy is a fan or not. Who cares? It's not about that. You don't like the guy either. There are shitty fans sometimes.
Didn't you use?
All right, Hasan, here you go, buddy. Here we go. You wanted it. I got it.
Okay, so it was earlier, but Dan was like, I sent it to my boss. It's out of my control, which was really hilarious. But let's see if Ethan is willing to actually play the entire video and allow Hasan to make a point.
I'm so sorry.
I love you.
I'm so sorry. I love you.
I love you, bro.
You're like my
You're the goat.
coolest guy in the world.
Wow, how crazy.
So no, wait, this is Ethan's clip.
I'm fucking. Is this another hysterical delusion?
Yes, it is, and I'm gonna explain to you exactly why.
Wow, dude, I love you. You're the goat, bro.
We spent a good deal of our time in the encampment. If you watch the unedited full live stream, we spent a good deal of the entirety of the encampment running away from him. He kept trying to ask me dumbass fucking questions.
Okay, but that's not nothing to do with the fan.
Dumbass,
Listen,
for his own
Hasan,
dumbass
please,
podcast.
you're derailing this, and I need to.
I'm not derailing it.
You
It's not called
absolutely
derailing.
are.
What I'm telling you, I was there, and I'm telling you the situation.
Very good.
You are nefarious.
I do believe that this is where I came to the conclusion that Hasan has people that are sending him stuff. Is it his chat on stream? It might be. Hasan has so much experience dealing with the chat, like he's interacting with the chat so much. The H3 crew is not interacting with the chat that much. Like yesterday, I just joined for fun. After the debate, he still had a stream. And I was like, how, like the chat is going so fast. So how is this guy even picking up on stuff? But then I noticed like, hey, on his screen and he's sharing his chat, he's showing us that he's looking at chat, which is quite important. But you can see him slow down and like scrolling, and the stuff where someone is mentioning him is highlighted, and he's reading mostly the stuff that people are saying to him. Most of the chatters are just sending a message, but some people, I would say around like 5%, they are tagging him. I'm not a member or of his channel or whatever, but like he did stare. I don't know if he was staring at my message per se, but like that was the message that was visible on his screen for like 5-6 seconds, and he did not mention it or react to it or anything. But like, yeah, you can connect with Hasan kind of by just tagging him, and that's how he's doing it.
Obviously making it seem as though this person is a massive
Do I
fan
need
of
to play
mine
the clip
who is just
again?
trying to cloud chase.
I'll play it again. You know.
And also keep in mind, like if someone is not a subscriber and like a hater, a hate watcher, and they tag him, like yeah, he makes fun of them as well. So that's good content also.
Oh, you know, fuck.
You can play that clip again.
So you don't have to be a subscriber for him to look at your message if you're tagging.
Oh my God.
Bro, I
I love you,
subtitles.
Hassan. Can I give you a hug?
Can you play the,
sweaty,
can you
bro.
play the clip where he
I'm so sorry.
admits he doesn't know who I am and asks
You're like
people around?
So Hasan is asking for the other.
Because that also
You're my hero, bro. I love you.
You're the coolest guy in the
You're the
world.
coolest guy in the world.
Oh, I think I look gay now.
I think okay
Still
now.
watching Ethan's
Ethan,
clip?
Ethan,
Yes, sir.
Ethan.
You okay?
If you think he was a fan of mine, why'd you call him a Sneeko fan when you interviewed him?
Because he's both. I mean, surely there's crossover.
There's a
Do I need to
crossover.
play the video again?
Okay,
I'll do
well,
it again. Fuck it.
my
Yeah.
producer,
I'll play it again.
Mark,
So when you play the video 3 times to make the same, it's kind of childish. Everyone has seen the video, but now.
my producer, my camera, Mark,
Can I give you a hug?
delusional.
Okay, very good. I'm
You are.
delusional. Let me get to my point, please.
That's why? That's all it takes for you?
No, it was when he.
You can't just say you don't care all of a sudden. And I was sending harassment
I
your way.
concede. Yes, very
Don't
good.
you think that's a big point of contention?
Cool, leave us on.
Enough about it that
I'm
you
just-
brought him up here and you used him.
You didn't
in
even
the
let me
past.
explain.
Production of
I want to just see that clip.
You're out.
What?
You're out playing with swastika swords or
Yeah.
something. You're not even in this clip.
Oh, here it is.
You,
Watch
you know where
this.
this is going.
I have no idea where this is going. This has been a journey.
Well, how about you let me fucking speak, and then we can figure out.
You showed your clip 3 times, the same video, all right? So he is sharing a clip with Dan. Let's see.
We can take the journey
can
together.
you play this clip though?
So this clip is just an example. Not that you're endorsing him. Not that
can
he's
you
a
play,
fan.
Can you play? Dan, I send you a clip.
I passed it along. It's out of my hands.
I passed it along. It's out of my hands. Like that is a clear, like he is saying your name because you have received the clip, and Dan should have probably not said anything. Let your boss deal with it, right? Step back and stand by, Dan. I passed it along. It's out of my hands. So you're admitting that this debate is fully controlled by Ethan, right? Because it would only be fair to show a clip. So if Dan was like kind of being a normal person here, he would probably say like, hey, Ethan, I think it's fair to allow him to show his clip as well. And Ethan would get pissed. So Dan is not doing that. He's sucking them balls.
It's the
I'll play it,
first
I'll play it.
introduction of this
Yeah,
character onto the stream where he's like, "Who's this guy?"
I'll play it. Yeah.
That was such an interesting and hilarious clip. So here you can see him bothering them, and then Ethan disregards this clip purely by the fact that Hasan is not visible in this part of the stream. It's still his crew. That's the Jewish guy that has been on his stream multiple times on the left.
Are you guys doing interviews?
Hey, dude, you guys streaming? You guys? Yeah, he's being obnoxious.
I'm Palestinian. I know I look Jewish.
You're not even present.
Later. Introduction of this and then
But yeah, he
of this
doesn't.
character.
He stops.
Yeah, I look like Jewish.
We're just, the guy, normally the answer would be yes, but he's busy right now.
What are you guys doing?
You're not there.
We're just streaming.
Oh, live stream? Yeah. Dude.
You're not-
It doesn't matter whether Hasan is there or not. This video illustrates that the guy was being obnoxious. So the picture taking, if you after this watch the picture taking, you can see Hasan being kind of uncomfortable. He's like, okay, take your picture. And when the guy says, I love you, what are you going to say? Like, no, dude, you don't love me. Like, you just let him have his picture and then tell him to fuck off.
You're in this clip, bro. What are you talking about? You're not even present.
Later.
You're out.
What?
You're out playing with swastika swords or
Yeah.
something. You're not even in this clip.
Dude, why? Chat. I think he's showing it on his side. You're not
played
seeing the
it.
clip. Yes. Yeah. He's
It's
he's
really-
showing the clip.
it's- okay.
That
Can
is
I-
that is the.
So Hasan is not seeing, like, again, Hasan, you're a multimillionaire. Why don't you have a tablet there on your desk looking at his stream to see what he's actually showing? And he's like not realizing that they're not, like, that they aren't showing. Like, it takes
First
too long
introduction
for him
of
to
this
figure
character
that out.
onto the broadcast.
Example
So-
of
This entire segment is stupid because that guy is just a weirdo. That's it. Yeah, Hasan took a picture with him because he wanted to get rid of him. That is how it works, my dude. It's not that difficult. So we have a section on effective.
in the past talked about your pro-Palestinian bona fides. You have
What do you mean
talked about
bona
how
fides?
He has donated 6,500, but Ethan also said like, hey, the 2.6 million. What's that going to do? What's that going to do, guys? What's that going to do? He has kind of disregarded the protest at the campus as well. What's that going to do, guys? What's that going to do? What's that going to do? He has disregarded all of that, right? It doesn't mean anything. What is that doing for people in Gaza? Like, no, you attacking people because of a stupid tier list that was not racist. Because what was Denim doing in that F tier, Ethan? No, that is effective activism. And Ethan is like, well, I can, it doesn't. If you're pro-Palestine, doesn't mean I can't criticize you. Well, if the criticism is baseless, then yeah, what are you doing, my dude?
you gave my fundraiser. Pro-Palestinian fundraisers are actually completely irrelevant in the grand scheme of things and completely useless. Do you think that
Yeah.
pro-Palestinian charities are simply there to make yourself feel like you're pro-Palestine? Do you
So-
feel like
so-
$6,500 was enough for you
I'll
to
answer.
spend the rest of the year actively deplatforming pro-Palestinian
harassing me?
creators?
I'll answer your question.
Just the fact that he was in the F tier, which Dennis was as well.
Right.
So I claimed when talking about now. By the way, this is something I criticize you for, which is being obtuse, mischaracterizing arguments, and basically just being a prolific liar. So here's what the conversation was about, right? I was talking about how when you're talking about activism, raising money isn't the most important thing because it can only do so much. There's other ways to do.
No, you completely made fun of it. Like, it's not doing anything. Like, what are you doing? It's just like you were like talking like a small child, disregarding the amount of money that they gathered with charity, and like it's ridiculous. Why did you even give money to that charity if you don't think that the money is effective, that it's worthless?
Effective activism, like protesting, et cetera, working with Palestinian organizations.
They made fun of the entitled people on the campus protesting. Like, what do they think? Like, how dare they think that they can have an opinion about the genocide? You are agreeing that it's a genocide, and you think it's weird for the students to protest. It's like they're doing it out of their position of luxury. Like, yes, they are, but like they're privileged. But like, it's bad that they are protesting. So Hasan could have worded this better, I have to admit. But Ethan, not a good point, Ethan. Yeah, you kind of made fun of people that voted Jill Stein, claimed that Hasan told people to vote Jill Stein, or that he voted Jill Stein. He hates Jill Stein. I like Jill Stein. I don't get to vote in their shitty system. But yeah, the last debate with Sam, Ethan explained how he does understand why some people can't vote Kamala Harris. But then we've seen the clip where Ethan and Ela are like, how did they vote for Kamala Harris? I don't understand. Don't they understand Trump is a lot worse? Worse than what? Have you seen the pictures? They destroyed entire Gaza. And then recently, Channel 13 from Israel actually debunked the claim that Biden and that Harris made, or AOC made, about Harris and them pushing for a ceasefire. And the Israelis have admitted that, yeah, they did not push for a ceasefire at all. Not even a little bit. They didn't even say the letter C. Like, it just didn't come up. Then regarding Destiny, there is a clip of Destiny. If you don't believe me, go check. I'm not going to say that again, but there's a clip of Destiny saying, hey, why do you guys think I haven't been streaming that often? Because I'm helping him prep for that content nuke. I helped him. So yeah, Hasan should have had that clip ready. He should have known that Destiny would be brought up. He brought it up himself, maybe. Destiny is an asshole. Even Ethan admits that like Destiny can't sue Noah. I don't think Ethan has a good case against Noah, to be very honest, because if you're backing a genocide, that's kind of different than just saying defend. But he also made a video with genocide. I don't know. Regardless, I think he doesn't have a good case there. That's my personal opinion. I'm not a lawyer. But Ethan admits, like, yeah, Destiny cannot do anything because he's right about Destiny. He has said some messed up shit. And yes, Destiny has said some messed up shit. But yeah, his subreddit does come up in your videos sometimes. A lot of people have found that the videos that he's watching are actually sourced from the Destiny subreddit. People have seen that a lot of the people in the subreddit of Ethan are also very active in Destiny subreddit. So there's a number of receipts. I don't think this is really that important. Yeah, Destiny is a weirdo. They both agree. Not that important. Shouldn't talk about this for too long. So the R word denial, the R denial, Ethan used Sheryl Sandberg's video. Ethan used Sheryl Sandberg's video. Again, I'm not going to show everything, but listen. He used Sheryl Sandberg's video, which was full of false claims and lies. Why am I saying that? Because I also follow the Electronic Intifada. And if you're interested in this, go to the Electronic Intifada and search for Sheryl Sandberg or Sandberg, and you will find some videos. They've covered this from the moment that video dropped. The New York Times article, where they found out that the person actually writing it was also working for the Israeli government. They made a podcast about it and then decided to not do the podcast for the New York Times because it was all baseless. So that article was used, right? And it was used a lot by Harris as well, by constantly referencing it. There was an investigation by the UN, and they primarily talked to witnesses, but have not seen actual evidence. But if you go to Electronic Intifada and look at their videos on the Sheryl Sandberg video, there's one guy, I don't know his name, but he's like the hero that saved like so many people on that day, on October 7, and like around the entire country. And he was speaking in the US, and they did like ask for hundreds of dollars for an entry fee, which would go to his basically GoFundMe kind of thing. An Israeli TV channel actually found out that the guy is lying about a lot of the stuff, if not everything. He's just clout chasing. But he's lying about what he saw. He also is saying that he changed, like, he claims that he reached a point where women were tied to trees. No evidence of that in pictures, videos. There's a lot of videos and pictures, right? The body cam footage, a lot of Hamas, those guys got killed, right? So they have the body cam footage from those guys, dash cams, CCTV, nothing. They haven't shared any evidence of mass R word, right? But Sheryl Sandberg claims that did happen, but no evidence, nothing shown. We have the German Minister of Foreign Affairs that claimed to have seen a video, but nobody else has seen that video. Does that video exist? There was one other person that claimed to have seen such a video of the rape happening. Why would they? It's kind of interesting, right? Did they see a video? Did they see a doctored video? That's the only, like, I cannot imagine, like, are they just lying? They could be just lying, but it's a lot easier to just say that when they see a doctored video. And it's, yeah, I don't know. So there have been some people that were taken as hostage, and they claimed that this is what happened to them. But the guy in Sheryl Sandberg's video that said like women were tied to trees, no evidence of that. He also mentioned that he put the legs together and then put something over them to respect them, which is tampering with evidence, right? Like, if that is what you're seeing, like, dude, you do not touch. It's a crime scene at that point, right? Imagine if this would happen in the US and someone would do all of that and destroy evidence and then making it more difficult to prove certain things. But here's the thing, there was no outside investigation, right? Why not allow some investigators from the outside to come and confirm that this is indeed what happened? But regardless, the guy was exposed as a liar, and go to Electronic Intifada and watch their videos. So Hasan should have been better in tackling this thing. Ethan brings up the UN report. You can see it's from a Discord app, by the way. R-word, gang R-word. Yeah. So reasonable grounds, independent sources, but did they see any evidence? Credible circumstantial information which may be indicative of some forms of sexual violence, including genital mutilation, cruel, inhuman, degrading treatment, was also gathered. Circumstantial information. So Sheryl Sandberg's video really claimed that there was mass rape, right? That's what the video did. There's no evidence of that happening. I know this is a very sensitive topic, but Ethan or Hasan here, like, I can, while watching this debate, like, I could also say where Ethan could make better points or stuff like that, and I know I'm not doing that. But I'm looking at it maybe more from Hasan's perspective, because Ethan was just being very, very unhinged. Witnesses saying that something happened, and like the believe all women, yeah, I get that. I get that. Have there been cases where women have lied about what happened? Yes, that has happened as well. We cannot rule it out, right? It's difficult to check. But when there's so much evidence of murder and all of that stuff that happened on October 7th, why is there no evidence of, R-word happening at all? It's kind of weird. Go to Electronic Intifada, where they debunk the video from Sheryl Sandberg. Like, I'm not just randomly saying these things, because I watched all those videos, the critiques. Like the Zaka organization, like Ethan starts talking about the Zaka organization, like that's not a competent group of people that can do investigations. They're clearing the crime scenes, not really gathering evidence the way they're supposed to. There is a video of a journalist talking to one of the guys from Zaka. There was some controversy about the guy, by the way, as well. And he's like, yeah, I have the evidence on my phone. Let me pull it up. And then the journalist like, great, can we take a look? And then he's like, yeah, sure. Shows him a picture. Again, you can go research this. Shows him a picture of a crime scene and then says, this is where this and that happened. But then the journalist says, like, I can't really see anyone or anything. It's like, yeah, but like the bodies are not there anymore. But this, like, so he was using a picture that was not showing the evidence to support what he claimed has happened at that location, and assumed that the journalist would just buy into it. I guess, could it be like just like not being that smart and not realizing like this is not actual good evidence, because internally you can show it and everyone is buying everything you say. By the way, that New York Times article, that same person admitted on an Israeli talk show, and they talked in Hebrew, but it was translated, and said, like, I went to talk to people and I could not find anyone that witnessed it and this and that. Like, she was coming up empty. And then she says something about like, I just felt like there was this thing, like it did happen. So I pushed through. And then, like, no evidence. So yeah, Ethan is talking about sexual violence and rape happening with people that were taken hostage. We cannot rule it out. It might have happened. But the big claim from Sheryl Sandberg's video is not about the people that were taken hostage. It's about that day. Screams Without Silence. Like, I don't know. I forgot the name. But it's a really bad documentary if you look into it. And the main guy she talks to is lying. And Zaka is known to just make shit up. If you don't believe me, Look into Zaka. Like, Googled it. Go search for YouTube videos. Don't believe me if you don't want to. I don't care. So again, Hasan could have done a better job. Hasan could have done a better job. It's that simple. So Ethan made some points in his older videos, like, not, it's actually recent videos where he said, like, Israel proper is amazing, like the Israeli territory where some Arabs live there as well, like Arab Jews, and he's like, yeah, it's amazing. And then this picture is from like I guess it's from the Holocaust, so these people are like Germans or something, and he's making that comparison. It's kind of messed up when there's a genocide ongoing, and in the West Bank they're like terrorizing those people and killing them as well, and there's no Hamas in the West Bank, right? To say like, I will go on vacation to like Israel and show you guys how amazing it is. Yeah, that's kind of messed up. So it's not that difficult for Hasan to explain what this tweet meant. And yeah, it's edgy, but like, it's kind of weird to say something like that. And I think Ethan here owns up to that as well. So Hasan gets that point. Here they talk about Hezbollah, and Hasan gives them the point on he made a mistake on the number of Arabs that they killed, and that the IDF killed less. Like, yeah, he owns up to not saying the truth here or making shit up. Hasan sourcing and promoting snark. Let me quickly play.
In the
We're giving a
avatar.
shout out to Leftovers H3.
It's got a picture of you, Hasan. You don't need to shout him out. You're already doing it. Don't you think that's
Wait,
odd?
you did it.
No, I think it's
Also, what do you think? Like, you
bring his.
years at this point, as he was, doing Gamba and wanted to fucking keep gambling and
Not
felt
answering.
minute.
I don't
Why
know.
to you?
Why are you bringing any of this up? People don't like you. I can't change that. Okay, there's plenty of people who don't like me either.
My whole career's been people not liking me, but I've never experienced this level of harassment. You are unwilling to contend or concede at any point that you.
Sorry, the level of harassment that he sent to that Instagram guy that says go to hell is not that spicy. He turned it into anti-Semitism because he was saying go to hell to Jewish people. So, okay, you can't say go to hell to Jewish people, but you can say it to everyone else. So, like, he turns everything into anti-Semitism, right? And then as soon as he does it, like, the people from his community go out and attack and send messages to that guy's mom and his sister, and like,
You are.
so yeah. Here Hasan should have just had a list of like, yeah, wait, when you're constantly talking about harassment, what about that Instagram guy? And then go to hell is really that bad? Like, Ethan, can you imagine me like doxing, and you can say it's not doxing, but like showing his Instagram pictures with his family and friends, like they didn't have anything to do with it. So it's kind of messed up. And yeah, Hasan does not really do that stuff. So you can make a list of things where you can show like Ethan has been harassing other people mostly. Other people are just reacting to Ethan, and that on its own is like anti-Semitic.
I'm not responsible for
ridiculous.
it.
I have
So-
never called them peppers.
wait.
Not
So
really
you haven't-
interesting. Hasan promoting
favor at this
Bad
point.
Empanada. Bad Empanada is quite edgy, so I will admit that he is extremely edgy. Like playing that video game, and then, which is not a banned game, it's like a game on Steam where you play as a Palestinian and you're fighting the IDF. He's like running towards someone and saying, oh, is that an assistant? He's making a joke because he knows that Hila was an assistant. It's edgy humor. I don't think it should be banned. It's a video game. At the end of the day, if you compare him, that's going to be his response, right? He's going to say, if you ask Bad Empanada, and I think Ethan should not be a pussy and just debate Bad Empanada. Why not? Do it. But if he's saying, hey, I'm playing a video game chasing a character and saying secretary, and you could say, well, that could be Hila because she was a secretary. You could say that. What is worse? That or going to work on a base in Ramallah in occupied territory and then asking to join a raid and joining a raid? Yeah. What is worse, Ethan?
regular frequency
link to his
because
page?
ultimately his
Ethan, this will come up, and Ethan excuses it and says Hila was 18. Hasan should have said, well, I watched that video from 7 years ago. Hila said, if the first job was boring, so I asked for a different one. They gave you something at random. If the second one would be as boring, I would find a way to get out. It's not that difficult to get out. There are religious reasons why you can't serve in the army. Hasan mentions this as well. There is a Taylor Swift Stan account that refused to serve. You only go to prison. It's not really even prison. It's like jail. It's like hotel jail or something. I don't know the details, but from what I researched, it's like 3 to 6 months, but you serve 3 years. What I've also seen is a video of Hila saying that she's proud that she served. Not that old video. So she's not looking like Ethan can use she was 18 years old as an excuse. Disregards the fact that Hila herself said if it was boring I would try to get out. So being 18, it's okay to join them, right? But then also you can confront them and say, well, Hila also said that she was proud that she served. She thinks it's ridiculous that people don't serve. It's your duty to serve. Like she's like pausing her career, her art career, for 3 years, while other people are getting to work on their career a lot faster. Like, yeah. So Bad Empanada, edgy stuff. You're doing a lot of harassment. Bad Empanada is primarily showing receipts. When Ethan says to Hasan, like, why are you not responding to Bad Empanada's critique? If I was Hasan, I would say, okay, you know what? I'll debate Bad Empanada. Ethan was saying, like Sean the Black also made a video criticizing Hasan. Bad Empanada criticized him for platforming Bernie Sanders and AOC. I don't like those people anymore. Bernie Sanders wasn't willing to use the word genocide because it made him feel queasy. When you look into his history regarding Israel, it's not that good. AOC falsely claimed that Harris was pushing for a ceasefire, which was not true. Did she just make this up on her own? Now she's supposed to tell the world, what was this based on, AOC? Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez? Like Hasan could challenge her on this, but he's not. He's not. And I remember AOC doing that video where they kind of conflate, anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism and the student protests and saying, oh, there's anti-Semitism there as well. And like the people that she was doing that stream with, and Hasan was kind of disappointed with it, but he didn't really criticize AOC after that. And he's now cozying up again with her. Yeah, Bad Empanada is right in critiquing him. And Sean the Black is also right in critiquing Hasan for going on like these podcasts with like younger creators. Like for Hasan, it's all about his reach and influence, right? He wants to increase his reach. He wants to reach new people. That's the big challenge for him. There's no challenge in talking for the people that are already fans. Like he wants to reach people that are Democrats, but like not as left-leaning as he is. He wants to reach those people and pull them more towards the left.
Product is YouTube
So yeah, Hasan,
It's almost done. It's almost done. It's almost done.
you should have just said, I will react to the critic videos. Tell me which ones. I will react to them and I will talk to those people. Because, dude, you're streaming 8 hours a day. It's kind of stupid that you're not willing to just talk to Bad Empanada when he makes a video criticizing you. Just talk to the guy. Right? It's
benefit tremendously too.
yeah,
With that,
it's
I mean, you're
valid
still doing a horrible.
critique. Yeah.
The Zionist Baby Killer. Why are you watching that one? Is that part of his master body of collection? Is that part of the Criterion collection there, buddy?
Yes.
Why does Bad... Okay, it is good. Why does Bad Empanada role-play hunting Hila and killing her in video games?
Have I ever said that I think that's appropriate?
I think... No, of course not. But what you are doing is endorsing this guy.
Do I agree with you that Bad Empanada...
Yeah. He has a lot of good videos as well. His video essays are pretty good. And also the videos about Ethan, it's purely just him reacting outside of the video game thing. It's mostly him reacting to clips that he gathers himself. Like he goes to the video, he goes to the transcript, Control Fs, and then searches for certain words and then shows us certain segments and reacts to it. And he's not unhinged. He's not being unhinged with all of that stuff. So, yeah, I think Hasan should have just said, you know what, I will debate them. I will react to their videos and I will debate them. Fine. You're right. You're right. Why not? This part, obsessed comments. Let me just play it very shortly. Let me see.
Do you know
You
why?
provide our office with information regarding the identities of H3 snark moderators.
Do you know why?
What does that
Yeah, there is valid criticism. So some guy like Ethan is suing everyone, right? The Redditors, but also the letter got out where the lawyer is saying like, you need to tell us the identities of the Redditors that you're talking to, the H3 snark Redditors that you've ever talked to, Reddit employees that you've ever talked to. Like they give 5 points, and if you don't, then we're going to copyright strike you and this and that. Like, dude. And then Ethan was saying, well, he was sharing paywalled videos, trying to get our views. Like, dude, seriously. So people are just sharing clips because they're showing receipts, right? And was it really paywalled when that was shared? Really? I don't know. But like, just the letter was completely crazy. So yeah, Ethan has been suing people or threatening to sue people. I do believe that the Reddit thing, like suing Reddit, did not work. So he gave up on that. The Noah Samson one, I think he's going to give up on that as well. It's like the king of free speech or fair use, right? You could say, well, it's not transformative when you're just showing a clip, but it's like the transformative part there is the conversation about the clip. If it's like 3 hours, the entire podcast, and Ethan has said this himself. He's okay with clips. He said that himself. There's a clip of him saying that, ironically. But like, yeah, he just thinks you shouldn't upload complete podcasts, which is not what he's going after, right? So yeah.
that mean? And then your
I'm
lawyer
trying to
says,
tell you.
if
You just
do
asked me
not-
what does it mean, bro.
If you do not or cannot
Hassan
satisfy
was pretty good in this section, I will admit.
inbred.
Continue.
Kahana settlers that were destroying humanitarian.
So this is where it really kicks off, because Hassan gets the option here to really debunk the points from the content nuke that was made about him. It was made about him, so it's totally normal for him to want to react to that video. And yeah, a lot of stuff was out of context. So Ethan said, what was out of context? That's not a smart move, my man. You should at the least have watched Bad Empanada's 3-hour video debunking the stuff that you said, right? If you're not willing to do that, that is Hassan's primary source. Why would Hassan watch the entire thing? He's too busy. He doesn't feel like watching the entire thing. He has watched the Bad Empanada reaction to that thing.
When I was
3 hours. Explaining everything, each and every point. And like, he debunked like 95%. And yes, there was a lot of out of context. So there is a clip where Hassan says like, I think he didn't do a good job of addressing this, making it clear. But there is a clip of him saying, I don't care if there was rape. Oh, he does actually make it clear. He says, well, I was reacting to someone that said it didn't happen. And Hassan is saying like, it could have happened.
calling them fucking inbred.
But like, even if it happened, it's not a good excuse to genocide people. And he just clipped that part. Like, I don't care that it happened.
You were like, oh,
Like, even if it happened, I don't care. But Hassan is actually making a point that it likely happened, while the chatter was saying like it did not happen. So kind of turned things completely 180.
why? They're just nice young Jewish boys, you said, when describing that fucking video.
Did you? So,
Yeah, they were destroying the 8 packages, and Ethan was saying like just they were chilling. They were like dumbass. Like, oh man, it's like this part is like it really.
this is an ongoing like joke with this community. These are just fucking benign dudes. Just I don't know.
They're destroying the 8 packages, Ethan. If you let that end, like that ended up in the content new. Come on.
What the fuck they're doing? It looks like they're doing charity or something. It looks like they've got water
They're stealing the food of people that are starving.
or a box or
dude.
something. Anyway,
What?
It's crazy. So yeah, the content cop video
I don't like
or the content nuke
fucking
video was really
crying
bad.
about me calling Nazis inbred in the process of them destroying
clips?
humanitarian aid, going into Gaza,
All the
and then you're
clips?
going, they look like kind. Keep going context and keep chirping to your audience.
So he just keeps going and like 5, 6, and like yeah, like a lot of it.
And lie to them, and now you can't lie to them, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, half of the fucking shit that we've talked
All right,
about,
here,
you've
let's do this.
backtracked on. Maybe that's the reason why people think you're fucking pro-Israel at a time when you say that they're doing a genocide.
You said
So 3 hours. If you want to watch this debate and you want to skip the biggest part, just skip for 2 hours 45 minutes.
that the Houthi Luffy was not place
Clearly
him up.
That's
Bravo.
not true. That's not true.
Really? What was that? What did it have to do with Israel?
It was literally owned by an
It was
Israeli.
partially
fucking
owned.
island.
It's a big multi-conglomerate company that was partially owned by an Israeli.
Yes.
It was
and
bound
it's-
for fucking for Turkey. From
Something he completely disregarded, right? So the big contention here is Hasan says, well, even if they capture ships that are not linked to Israel occasionally, at least they're doing something. So I'm still happy that they're doing something. The big contention for Ethan here is like, why are they taking the people that are working on those ships and keeping them for so long? If I was Hasan here, I would have. So Hasan says like they're trying to discourage people from. You know, the thing is, of course, the people are important to the companies, their families. In this point, I think Hasan should have said, but like he can decide what he wants to say, right? So the ship is like where the big money is, right? Like the ships are super expensive, the cargo. So when they capture the ship, there is no reason really to hold on to those people that were working on that ship. You could say, well, why are you working? So a lot of the ships do have a connection. Like there is a harbor in Israel that got bankrupt because of the actions of the Yemenis. So yeah, Hassan could have said, you know what? I don't agree with them keeping those people. I don't agree with them keeping those people. Yeah, he could have said that. And then Ethan doesn't get to make a point there.
Yeah,
India.
what do you mean?
There was
What do
they
you think
kidnapped
BDS is,
5
dude? What do you think
totally
BDS stands for?
unrelated Filipino fucking
You also
prisoners.
said
They
wasn't owned by an
prisoners
Israeli, by
for
the
a
way, in
year.
your fucking video. Are you going to take that back too now? Now you admit that you were wrong on that
Take
part
what
too?
back? I didn't hear
Wow,
you.
what are we on? 4? 5? How many points have you actually?
The guy.
Once again, that was owned by an Israeli
No,
conglomerate.
it
and you
wasn't.
lied
That's
on
an
your
outright
fucking
lie.
video.
You're lying. It's not owned by an Israeli conglomerate. You're fucking lying. That's an outright.
The Badam Panada video showed that the ship that Ethan was referencing was owned by 2 Israeli guys, if I'm not mistaken.
Shit. Why are they kidnapping random unaffiliated sailors? How are you defending
Ethan,
that?
you know what's
You're
what's
defending them
fair shit?
kidnapping these
You know what's fair shit, Ethan?
unrelated foreign
You know
sailors?
what's fair shit? Israel fucking blowing up a humanitarian aid
When did I defend
flotilla. 1,002. No, I'm not saying you're defending that. I'm just explaining to you.
So when Ethan is saying like these things are unacceptable, Hassan challenges him and says like, what is acceptable to you? But then there's not a lot, right? During the Sam Cedar debate with Ethan, Sam said the Great March of Return, and then Ethan said, well, they attacked the fence. Like, dude, more than 200 people died. Quite a few children as well. More than 30,000 people got injured. They were sniping people in the arms and the legs, people that were really far from the fence. I think Sam Cedar did not do an amazing job making the point about what exactly happened at the Great March of Return, and I'm kind of disappointed that Hassan didn't bring it up either. When someone challenges you and says, well, all of these things that they've done, armed resistance and the ships and all of that stuff is not okay, then you can bring up the Great March of Return. And then you can look into the Great March of Return. There's a lot of videos about it, a lot of news articles, Wikipedia page, whatever. If you look into it, you're not the key takeaway point there is not they were trying to invade and they had to shoot, otherwise they would just invade and like an October 7 would happen. Like that's not your key takeaway. If it is, then I don't know what to tell
What
you.
actual terrorism looks
Well,
like.
you are defending
Israel,
terrorism,
as
though.
of this conversation
And
taking
you've done
place,
it many
Israel
times during
last
this
night
conversation.
literally drone striked a fucking humanitarian aid ship that was headed for Gaza off the coastline of Malta.
The young guy, he's not an actual Houthi. He said he's not a Houthi. hey, you can say, hey, Hassan, but you thought he was a Houthi. Yeah, that is true. At the end of the day, he's allowed to interview the guy. Was he being soft? You could say that. Does it really matter? No, it's not a big thing. There is a lot of lies in the chat from H3 members that I saw where they said he's a Houthi. He's not a Houthi. Where they and the Houthi is like a family, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. They said he went to the ship. Yes, the ship turned into a tourist attraction and everyone could go to the ship. How does one go to the ship? You pay, and then on a dinghy, small boat, they will bring you to the ship. So he was not one of the people that took the ship. Also, what else was there? He has said, like Hassan has asked him, and he brings this up, like, what do you think about anti-Zionist Jews, like in the protests and this and that? And he's like, yeah, I'm glad that they're supporting us and this and that. And then if you listen to Norm Finkelstein actually says, like, I get why they are saying that they hate Jews, because that's the only reference they have is like bad stuff happening to them. Let me see.
Okay, no, that's fine. Why are you thinking about what my bedroom looks like? It's kind of weird, man.
Yeah.
There was
you're
a
right.
section where from the river to the sea, I think Norm Finkelstein said, like, I don't like that. And then Hassan just says, yeah, you can just say, like, I don't agree with Norm Finkelstein there, the way I perceive it, and also note that Netanyahu has used the same words as well. People say that, hey, that means that they want to get rid of the Israelis, but then that is not what I get out of it. Like, if I really look into it, like, it's that they should be free. And then Ethan is like, maybe the slogan should be 8 times longer, and like everyone, including the Jews. It's the same thing as like Black Lives Matter, and then like you can't say just Black Lives Matter. You have to say all lives matter. So you have to turn the slogan into like Black Lives Matter, but all lives matter, of course, but Black Lives Matter now. In particular, but we're not saying that not all lives matter. All lives still matter, but Black lives need more attention because, you know, dude, it's a slogan. So I disagree with Norm Finkelstein, even though he is educated on the history of Israel and Palestine. He's also against BDS. I am not against BDS. I support BDS. So yeah, I disagree with Norm Finkelstein there as well. Hassan said that he has some anti-trans views. Yeah, I agree with Norm Finkelstein there as well. So there's a list of things where I would agree with Norm Finkelstein. But I agree with a lot of other points that he has made. And regarding the Yemenis or the Houthis, like, yeah, Norm is leaning more favorably towards them. So you can have, like, this is an important part of the discussion. I think if you're looking at the debate and like what is a valuable part of the discussion, like probably this part. Mandatory service. So they talk about mandatory service. As I already mentioned, you can get out of it. Hila herself said if the second job was boring, she would try to get out of it. Hassan pushes Ethan a bit on this and says, well, do you consider Hila to be a terrorist? And then he jokingly says, oh, okay, she's a terrorist. But like, his excuse for Hila is like the fact that she was 18. Again, there are people that are conscientious refusers. Like, those people exist. The thing is that Hila now, a lot older, is still looking proudly on her, on the fact that she served. Kind of looks down on people that don't serve and refuse to serve. So, yeah. And Ethan was struggling to really defend Hila there. And Hassan was saying, your wife. And then chat was going all crazy. Like, how can he say your wife? Just say Hila. Yeah, just say Hila. Who cares? Yeah, like, it's triggering them. So they just call her Hila. Nelson Mandela. Hassan made a point about Nelson Mandela refusing to get out of prison because they said you can get out only if you denounce violence. You can dive into this a bit more. I have to admit that I'm not super knowledgeable on South Africa. But the thing is, so there was a part of the debate where, so this part, I think, again, like, this is an important part. If you want to watch the debate, like, watch the last couple of hours. So I looked into it during the stream, and Nelson Mandela has never said that there should be armed resistance from Palestinians. He said like they should live amongst each other in peace, and he was not happy with Israel. That was clear. The violence things, like Hassan made a point about them having used some violence, but Ethan is like only 200 people died. It's not comparable to what Israel has experienced. And then it's like, okay, yeah, and on October 7, they talk about that, and it's like 700, 800. Ethan says 900, and then Hassan corrects and says it's 800. We know that the Hannibal Directive was used as well. We have seen the footage of the chopper shooting at the cars, going to the fence, which could contain hostages as well. We know of the stories where the tanks were shelling the kibbutz, the buildings. We know of the footage of the cars around Nova Festival that all seem to have exploded, which does not look like a capability that a lot of the Hamas people had. They had guns, and they might have had some grenades, I don't know, but like they were not all walking with like bazookas, right? So we don't know exactly how many were killed by them and how many were killed by the IDF. But regardless, I get that point. But regardless, like how many people have died now? And Ethan agrees that the genocide is ongoing. But like, yeah, shouldn't that be the main topic? And that is the point that Sam was making. Like all the other stuff right now is becoming less and less relevant when a genocide is ongoing. Hassan gets upset at the end of the debate, which I think is fine. Like he should have gotten upset faster because he was better in the debate when he actually got upset. So, oh man, it's a very long debate, but I have to admit, there are some really funny moments with Ethan, like saying he's the legend and putting his feet on the desk and then the water falling. Like Ethan did not do a great job, but Hassan could have done a better job. Obviously, I have some criticism for Hassan here as well. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed my summary. I'm not even sure how long it was. But let me know what you think. I would like to see some comments, and I would like to go to the debate and look at those comments and see if I was wrong about something or if I missed something. But the big point for me here is the fact that Hassan stepped into this thinking that he could have like a normal debate with Ethan because he saw the debate with Sam. Ethan was completely different towards Sam compared to Hassan. And I get that Ethan is upset with Hassan, but like the receipts are not that great, my dude. Like a tier list, you claim to be racist where you're in the same tier as denims. Like, okay, so it's racist towards denims as well. Like, what would have been a lot better debate-wise would be a debate with Bad Empanada. Or I would like to see Ethan debate Norm Finkelstein. Find common ground with Norm Finkelstein. Well, you both agree that from the river to the sea is like not a good statement. Fine. Hug it out. You guys can agree on that. But talk about all the other stuff. Talk to Norm Finkelstein about the Great March of Return and see if he agrees with you. Right? Like that would have been a valuable debate. So there is like a drama part of it, which Norm Finkelstein is not aware of at all. The drama part, Bad Empanada is the most informed person on the drama part and the statements that Ethan has made and debunking them. Like Bad Empanada has done a better job in his live stream. And I don't know to what degree he was prepared. I think he was prepared. He watched it and then he started recording. I don't think he wrote down his arguments. I don't know. Regardless, Bad Empanada seems to be better prepared for such a discussion about what Ethan has actually said and using his own words against him. And then when it concerns the politics, like the actual genocide and those things, like Norm Finkelstein would have been a better person to deal with Ethan there. Was it effective by getting upset at the end of the thing? yeah, I mean, Ethan deserved to get some hate there. I don't care. I think it was good. I think Hasan should have gotten upset a bit sooner. Like he was more, he was better in the debate. As soon as it turned into like the content nuke video Ethan made about Hasan, as soon as he started talking about that and debunking the points, that was great. That is where the debate completely turned. And then after that, Ethan could not recover, in my opinion. Let me know. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Make sure to subscribe and like the podcast. I will catch you next time. I would love to get some comments on this one so we can actually discuss it and see like where did I make a mistake? Where was Ethan really owning Hasan? Where was Hasan owning Ethan? As long as people are respectful, we can just have a good conversation there. See you guys later. Have a nice weekend.